And it looks like it's going to be another nice day. It's Friday the 13th, but don't let that worry you because we have a deal with the rumor mill. I don't know if you ever have actually made a deal with the rumor mill. Where's Robin? The deal is that if you listen to this show, then all bad luck is null and void.
Very
right?
nice.
Yeah, it's a legal thing, just so you know, because I know you're an attorney. All right, let me get you on the camera here. All right, I am talking right now to our guest, our first guest of the morning, Bryon Aven. He's an attorney. He's actually taking a moment out of his day because he's had a busy day today, but he wants you to meet him by way of radio, and if you're watching on the video, there he is right there. He's a candidate for Marion County Court Judge Group 4. We don't say Seat 4, huh? Group 4.
That's correct.
So, good morning, sir. How are you again?
I'm fantastic.
Now
Thank
that
you
we're
for asking.
official on the air, you have a beautiful wife, beautiful daughter. You said you have 4 children?
I do.
Wow. And you've lived here for a long time?
Since 2008, and before that, we lived here from 2003 to 2004.
Oh, wow. Where'd you live in the interim?
In between, we went to Minnesota for law school as well as Arizona State.
Oh, You both
Yes.
you both went to law school?
Well, I went to law school.
Oh.
She goes everywhere I go.
Oh, I see. I
So-
see. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a team, right?
It is.
Team, yeah. Well, good. Yeah, I love the both of you. You look like so happy and smiling. So why do you want to be a judge?
Because I think that the best way that I can serve Marion County and the citizens of Marion County right now is as a county court judge.
Mm-hmm. And what are the duties? Does each group, like each judge, have a different type of law that you oversee, or no?
That's a great question. In county court, they're basically general practitioners, and the reason that I say that is because there's 4 county court judges here in Marion County. There's Judge McCune, who's in Group 1.
Mm-hmm.
Group 2 is Sarah Ritter-Hoff-Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Group 3 is Tommy Thompson.
Okay.
And Group 4 currently is Robert Land.
Okay.
And
okay.
each of them gets a variety of cases. And so every case that comes into Marion County is essentially distributed to one of those 4 judges. A new case comes in, it goes to one of those 4 judges.
And is it something that we need to know as the general public? I feel like I know nothing about what judges do. Maybe that's a good thing, right?
Maybe that is a good thing.
On Friday the 13th, we'll knock on granite or something.
That's right. County court judges are going to hear all of your misdemeanor criminal offenses,
Okay.
your criminal traffic offenses, some of your traffic offenses. They're also going to hear all of your municipal ordinance offenses that are not heard by a hearing officer. They're going to hear all of the civil cases where the dispute is $15,000 or less. They're going to hear eviction cases and cases of that nature.
So how do you, let's see, the jury usually decides and then you are, the judge is the final vote? Is that how that works?
That's also a great question. In a trial, the jury actually determines whether or not a defendant is guilty or not guilty. A judge's responsibility is to sentence offenders and make certain that the state and the defense are playing by the same rules.
Okay,
They're
okay.
essentially an umpire that makes certain that the evidence that is admissible is evidence that has been legally and lawfully obtained.
So the kind of courtroom scenes that we see on shows like Judge Judy, that's rare?
That is a party coming in and asking the judge to determine what the facts of the case are,
okay.
which is a little different than generally county court or circuit court.
Oh, okay. Okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm going to shut up in just a little bit and let you do a regular campaign presentation, but I'm just curious about things. Well, it's nice to meet you, first of all.
Great to meet you, too.
And so as an attorney, you've represented some, I was looking at some of your background, some homicides and sex crimes. I mean, how do you, like, do you not take that home at the end of the day? How do you handle all that stuff?
I would say that one of my skills is I'm able to compartmentalize things. I have prosecuted homicide cases,
Oh my gosh.
sex abuse cases, child abuse cases, domestic battery cases, cases involving firearms, robberies, burglaries, dangerous criminal offenses, as well as violent criminals. And one of the things that I have always practiced in my career is My job is to make certain that the charges that we bring against a defendant are charges that I believe that I can prove. So the last thing that we would want to see happen here in Marion County is for someone to be convicted wrongfully of one of these very serious crimes.
Yeah, really.
So it's the prosecutor's job to make certain that all of the charges that we bring against someone are charges that we can prove.
It's good to know that nice people get to be the guy who puts the bad people behind bars.
Well, thank you.
It is nice to know that. It makes me feel good. So as a judge, would you? Gosh, how do you do that? I mean, if you're looking at two people you respect, in other words, two attorneys, and obviously you're going to have an opinion one way or the other, right? It's kind of hard to not if you're listening to both sides of the story.
Certainly.
So how as a judge do you handle that? That seems like a hard job.
As a judge, your personal bias, prejudice, sympathies should not and cannot enter into the cases. So it's important that you listen carefully to the evidence and the facts that are presented to you, that you are prepared enough to know the law, and then that you're able to follow that law.
Is that where the compartmentalize skills come into play?
Well, compartmentalizing for me helps me not bring home those very serious cases and those things that I've seen that I don't want my children or my family to experience. Yeah. But as far as compartmentalizing as a judge, it's important that any personal relationships that you have with the parties or the people that are involved in the case, you set those aside, you listen to the facts, and that you follow the law.
Do you know one thing I've noticed about the candidates running for judge is you all respect each other.
Yes.
It's not something you see in most political campaigns. I also think that the difference between what you're doing and what a lot of political candidates represent, in your field, you're all very skilled, you're all very educated. Not necessarily so. I mean, you could. I could run for office. I don't have any qualifications, but I could put my name in the running, and a lot of people do who don't and get elected.
Sure.
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
There's no real test for them. Is there an actual? I know there's obviously a test to be an attorney, but is there an actual test to qualify as a judge?
What Florida has done is they've kind of laid out in the statutes the qualifications for their different judges. A county court judge has to be an attorney. They have to have practiced law for at least 5 years. A county court judge has to live in the county that they serve. And those are the basic requirements of a county court judge. Certainly, judges are reviewed, judges are governed by a judicial qualifying commission. Yeah. And so all of the complaints go to that judicial qualifying commission.
Do you have to swear to uphold the Constitution?
Absolutely. That's one of the oaths that any public servant really takes.
I wasn't sure if everyone
is to
did.
Uphold the Constitution, because those are the rules that we've all agreed to live by, and it's important that judges follow the rules that we've all agreed to live by.
And I'm not an expert, but we've had candidates who will say they'll uphold the Constitution, but don't seem to know it. I have no question that you understand the Constitution. So you said before we went on the air that you've set up some like social media.
We have,
and I want the listeners to know about that so they can look you up. Can you tell us what they are?
Yes, we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We're on Instagram. The site's the same. It's VOTE, so vote the number 4 AVEN. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We also have a website that can be found at www.votethe4aven.com.
Okay. And are your kids helping you with this? I know they know a lot about this stuff.
I don't know if it's grudgingly helping us or excited to help us, but yes, they are completely involved.
So I'm going to ask you, this might be more of a question for your daughter, are there some, and this is something I honestly don't know, do some of those social media formats serve a different demographic? Like, are some for the, because it seems like Facebook is older people, and are the younger people, because you want to reach them too, as long as they're of voting age, right? So is that why you're doing all of them? I don't know who to ask.
I don't know.
You don't know because you're like me, but you're so young, you should know. Yeah.
I would say that we are trying to reach every single Marion County voter, and regardless of whether they choose me or my opponent, it's important that they at least choose. Generally in these elections, the voters leave the judicial choice blank.
Yes,
So
I think so.
There are more blank votes than voting for a candidate, and I think that's a real injustice to the citizens of Marion County. You can research me, you can research also my opponent. It's very difficult to research and find information about judges. But one of the things that we've done for you and that you can find on my website is the differences between myself and my opponent. And you'll see that there are some very significant differences.
I think using social media is really smart, but I also want to extend a thank you for choosing traditional media, radio. I think the one thing that we can do, and hopefully you're going to benefit from this, is that this listenership, first of all, this listenership is a voting listenership. Talk radio gets voters. I know that from talking to them. But they get to know you because it's kind of hard to really get to know a person through like a 30-second TV ad or a print ad or a sign in somebody's yard, So this is the opportunity that they want. They want to hear somebody they're familiar with, which is me and Robin, to talk to somebody they want to get to know. So
right.
Because it's in, what is the word, vicariously talking to you. So, all right. So are you okay with me just stopping and giving like a campaign spiel?
Sure.
Which is Yiddish, by the way. I found out the word spiel.
Spiel.
Yeah.
Or I can just keep answering questions.
Okay. Well, I do want you to kind of give your pitch a little bit. Let me see if I have any more interesting questions. Oh, let me do a left field question.
Okay.
Well, I'll save that for the end.
Okay.
I have some left field questions for the end. Okay.
Perfect.
So just let me be quiet and then just take your time and tell us what we need to know.
Thank you very much. My name is Bryon Aven, and I am a Marion County resident. I have done everything that I can, everywhere that I've lived, to serve the community that I live in. I'm involved in a number of organizations, and you can see the number of organizations listed on the website. Those include the Boy Scouts of America. They include assisted living facilities that we've dedicated time and talents to do some work for them. We've also are very involved in the Children's Alliance, Kimberly's Cottage, those sorts of local places. We're very involved in our church. Faith is very important to me. It is very important that you as Marion County citizens choose leaders that are involved in the community and anxiously engaged in doing what they should be doing. A judge should be fair and impartial and follow the law. And if you research the difference between myself and my opponent, you'll see that there are some significant differences. I've worked for the state attorney's office now for over a decade. I've prosecuted every type of crime except for a first-degree murder trial. I've never had that experience, but during the course of my more than 130 jury trials, I've had the opportunity to see the law in action. I know as a prosecutor, it's my responsibility to make certain that the charges that I bring against any defendant are charges that I can prove. The last thing that I would ever want to do is accuse or try to convict an innocent person. So one of the things that we do on the front end is we thoroughly research our cases, make certain that the evidence that we have is something that we can rely on, and then we go forward, and we go forward with all diligence. Our duty is to seek justice with integrity. The reason that I would like to serve you as your county court judge is because we need a change in Marion County, and you can take a look at my website as far as to see what that change is from to what it can be. I promise that if you vote for me, that I will serve with integrity, I will be fair and impartial, and I will follow the law. Of all of those jury trials, I've asked every single juror individually if they can do those two things, and that is be fair and impartial and follow the law. If we can expect that of our jurors, our lay people, then certainly we should expect that of our judges. I know that as a Marion County judge, I can serve this community with a greater capacity and to a greater degree. And I would ask you to vote for me. Vote early. That begins August 18th. If you're voting by mail, fill out that ballot and vote Bryon Aven. And if you're voting on August 28th, again, I would appreciate your vote. But more importantly, I would ask you to vote for a judge. This is sort of unprecedented. You have 3 county court judges that are running contested elections. You have the opportunity at this time to decide the direction of Marion County as far as the county courts are concerned. I would ask you not to leave that choice blank. Research the candidates, find the candidates that you believe can be fair and impartial and follow the law, and then vote. Vote early, and vote on voting day, because this is a primary election. So we would ask you to vote early August 18th, vote on August 28th, or vote by mail.
And Bryan's website is voteforaven.com. His Facebook page is facebook.com/voteforaven. It's always the number 4. So vote, the number 4, Aven is A-V-E-N, and Bryon spells his first name B-R-Y-O-N. Okay, now I have some fun.
Great.
Ready for the left field questions?
Yes, I am.
All right. Robin and I prepared these earlier. Do you own any pets? Do you own any pets?
We used to have a dog. His name was Justice Marshall.
Oh, used to. Makes me sad.
Well, we had to let the dog go because we had a 3-year-old that would not leave the dog alone.
Okay, I gotcha.
So
okay.
I chose the dog. My wife chose the child, and she won out.
Well, you be the judge, right? Yes. I get to use that line a couple times in today's show. All right. The other one. Have you ever taken the Amtrak train?
The Amtrak train. I have never taken the Amtrak train. I have been on trains before. In fact, when we were serving in China, we volunteered at a school teaching English, and we went on one of the fastest trains in the world.
Wow.
Which was very
Oh, my gosh. We
Yes.
did Amtrak one time. It was last year.
How was it?
We were 5 hours late. It was a 20.
We were not. We were 20 minutes early.
Is that right? It was a 27-hour ride. Ay, ay, ay.
Did they have beds?
Well, we didn't have beds. The train did, yeah. Okay. We didn't pay for them.
Well, that was back before children, so we were able to pay for beds, and we slept, and it was a great ride.
All right, the next question is about beaches. The Gulf or the ocean?
I'm going to go with the ocean. We more often go to Daytona Beach than we do to Clearwater or Tampa.
Yeah. So if you were the judge over there, would you just banish all driving on the beach, or do you like driving on the beach?
You know, it's not for a judge to make the rules.
All right. Camping or hotels?
I'm going to go with hotels.
Hotels!
Yeah. Camping with 5 women is a different experience than hotels with 5 women.
So if you were single, you'd be camping?
Maybe.
All right, last one. Donuts or cookies?
I'm going to go with cookies because I would eat both. And I do eat both.
You don't look like it. You exercise?
I do.
Looks like you do.
I run 2 miles almost every day.
Oh, my gosh. Judge McCune is always running, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
How we keep up with Judge McCune is he's got a very long stride. He's a very tall man, and he's very fit. He's
an awesome guy, and obviously you are too. Well, thank you for coming in. That was fun, Bryon. Good luck with everything, and please be careful driving to Levy County. Ladies, thank you for coming in. And it looks like you're supporting your dad and your husband. That's awesome. Thank you all. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
We'll put this up as a podcast. Robin will make sure you have a link to it, and you can use it if you want. And if you have editing tools, you can cut out my stupid stuff. All right, we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA.
You're thinking about selling your home, but where do you start? Easy. Call Angie at 352-361-8359. Angie works with you to get your home sold. Angie is more than just an agent with Roberts Real Estate. She's a pro with heart. Call her at 352-361-8359, and you will know you have the right person.
I'm Angie Umpleby, and I'm looking forward to working with you when you call me at 352-361-8359. That's 352-361-8359.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. Agriculture Commissioner and gubernatorial candidate Adam Putnam is traveling to Jacksonville today, 2 days after visiting Ocala's Veterans Resource Center to announce policy proposals for veterans if elected Florida governor. The body of a 61-year-old diver reported missing has been found in the Gulf of Mexico near Manasota Key. Florida Governor Rick Scott signed an executive order yesterday responding to confusion over a new Florida law, and he's making it clear that it does not make public beaches private in the state. Water releases from Lake Okeechobee toward both Florida coasts will resume today amid political backlash and a toxic algae bloom. A Florida man told the officer who pulled him over that he was taking swigs of bourbon only when he stopped at traffic lights and stop signs, so he was not technically drinking and driving. He was, of course, arrested. And a problem with the cooling system at Disney's Hollywood Studios left